It's round number 6 of the 2019 Mission 22 Cup Series for the Fuel Racing League, and now we head to the Monster Mile. If you were concerned about tearing up your race car in weeks past, well, you should be concerned now. This concrete coliseum, twice the size of Bristol, is an absolute menace to every driver in the field that wants to get home without a scar in the right side or a scar in the front or rear of their machines. Dover Speedway is so challenging to get through even 100 laps of racing, but we raced for 175 tonight at Dover Speedway, and now the Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series begins tonight. Finian, this series so far has been spectacular in 2019. We've had 5 really, really good races. What are the chances we continue that tonight?
I think there's a pretty solid chance, although, again, Dover just being the way it is, it's going to be kind of hard to pull off. It's a fairly difficult track for some of these drivers. Especially with it being a little bit tight when I was testing out there. I don't know how it's changed. It does seem to be pretty cool as cloud cover is over the track at the moment.
So qualifying underway, Jeff Ward sits at the top of the board. Will Roberts in the 39. How about that qualifying effort? 4th best for him, 3rd place for Alec Martinez. Some other cars out on the racetrack right now we got to keep an eye on. Nick Cohan in the 21. A new livery on board this week, and boy, isn't this car pretty.
That is, what sponsor is that?
Perk Coffee. Looking really solid. Shane Ewing in the 32 car out on the racetrack. A lot of new paint schemes on board this car this week. Of course, no number on the side. So unfortunately for him, whoa, out of turn 4. It's up near the wall. All right, so about 1:40 minutes left in qualifying. My brain's a little scattered from the Elite Modified stuff, so we're just trying to get back into the groove of things here. Couple cars left, very important cars left to qualify, and I don't see the 27. Oh, I do. He's 6th, Anthony DeBarro. So interesting qualifying effort there. Greg Evans is 2nd. Some other cars out on the racetrack right now. Riley Thompson in the 58. This driver is one that probably should have had some better runs this season. Got some rookie stripes on the back, but he has had a lot of talent, especially at Texas. Ran really, really well in the mid part of the race. And looking to see if he has a good qualifying effort here tonight across the line to start a lap, I believe. And we'll see how he runs here. Of course, this racetrack, so challenging out of turn 2. You get right up next to the fence, and of course, Thompson's going to slam into the wall, and we'll have to start towards the rear of the field tonight. 175 laps at Dover. We know how challenging this place can be. What are the keys to Dover here, Finian? Because it's a lot like a double-sized Bristol.
Yeah, it really is. I think a lot of these guys are going to have problems off the corner, especially turns 2, and I think even more importantly, turn 4 at places that side of the track is definitely where a lot of the wrecks tend to happen. Just with these guys pretty much going over a hill when they come off the corner and then the car settling back down. It's definitely been better because these guys are going a little bit slower and have a lot more downforce in the back to keep the car stable than in years past, but still, it's pretty treacherous, especially when these guys are going to be in a pretty sizable group.
Yeah, let's take a look at the track conditions. Last week at Texas, we had some of the hottest we've ever seen on SimTV, up to 138 degrees, I believe, 136, 138. It was really hot. 111 here tonight. The concrete doesn't get quite as warm, but I want to take your attention to the middle of the corners here, Finian, because there's a lot of rubber laid down already, and we'll see if that gets cleaned off for the start of the race. I imagine it will be at least a little bit. No, carried over track state, so a lot of rubber already built into the racetrack. What does that mean? It means the wall up out of the corners is going to be extremely dirty with marbles, Finian. So staying on that bottom groove is going to be the place to be, and if you get out of line, you're probably going to get shuffled backwards. But I don't think we've seen a race on this new package here at Dover just yet. Maybe one with the Outsider Racing League last season. I'm really curious to see how this races.
And also just looking at how many people, it's amazing how many people this track used to seat.
Well, that's a sad moment here. All right, so the field gridding up and get ready to go racing in. Will Roberts with a strong qualifying effort. Let's look at the rest of the grid here, though. On the front row, Jeff Ward and his number 89 alongside Greg Evans, the first season champion of the Fuel Cup Series. He starts on the outside of row number 1.
Yeah, very solid effort for the 46. Moving back to row number 2, Alec Martinez in the 54, the rookie in the series, off to a fantastic start. Outside of him, Brian Chambliss, 2 in the 45. Great qualifying effort out of him.
2 ex-ORL drivers, actually current ORL drivers in there as well. Nick Cohan starting 5th in row number 3 in his number 21 car, alongside Will Roberts in the number 39 Target Camry.
Moving back to row number 4, Anthony DeBarro on the 27 will be starting back, I guess, probably a little bit further back than we would usually think, because he's been off to a fantastic start to this season. Outside him in the 28, Timothy Johnson.
Casey Shue starts on the inside of row number 5, and Matt Bell in that Patronus number 77. He starts in 10th on the outside of row number 5. We'll see if he can improve on his solid finishes so far.
Moving back to row number 6, Thomas George in the 9 will be starting in 11th. Outside of him, the 30 of Robert Hall. what we've seen has not been quite a few starts, but has definitely been pretty fast.
Shane Ewing in the 32 has been solid so far in his couple starts in the Fuel Racing League. Zach Buchanan in the number 40, capable of winning races, just needs a little bit of luck.
Colin Fambro on the 5 will be starting on the inside in 15th. Outside of him in 16th will be Thomas Bressy in the 24.
In 17th, Gael Brooks in the number 71 machine. That's the Toyota Camry this week, alongside Marshall Stanley in his Ford Mustang in the number 25. We're going to let the rest of those scroll along the bottom of the screen as we get ready to go racing here tonight, Finian. 175 laps. This racetrack is so challenging because the racetrack changes so much over the course of the night. Concrete seems very sensitive, not necessarily to temperature, but to rubber changing throughout the race. So up near the front, what are the drivers going to have to do to make sure that they stay on top of it throughout the race?
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to try to stick towards the bottom, at least in the early part of this run. That's where you can see a lot of rubber is put down, but in the later part of this run, we might see some guys fancy trying the outside lane.
Casey Lakatos, another one of those ORL drivers, and one of the other drivers on the Sim Motorsports team, starting deep in the field in 26th place. He's run almost as well as teammate Alec Martinez, and actually better in a couple races, so I'm curious to see if he can make up some ground. But on the back straightaway now, you see everyone lining up, and we got about a 37 strong car field. Again, incredible field turnout so far for the first 6 rounds of the season. We're averaging about 3 cautions a race. If you take out Michigan, it's even less than that. So solid season so far. We'll see if we can continue it as we get ready to go racing. A new livery on board, the 46 on the outside of the first row as well. We roll out of turn 4. 175 laps on tap tonight, about an hour worth of racing at Dover. Waiting for the green. Greg Evans on the outside, the 89 on the inside. Green flag flies, racing at Dover.
Oh, and a lot of wheel spin on the start for some of these guys. Looks like we're underway.
Car
No, in
back.
the background, it's the 22.
Brandon Key in the 22 car. That's actually his first or second start in this series this season, as we wait for the timing and scoring to settle out so we can grab the 22.
Yeah, I don't think he's still gone across the start-finish line.
And waiting to see, they're already recovered back to the pit, so a poor start for the 22 machine.
Yeah, that caught out a lot of people.
Yeah, there was a lot of wiggling and wobbling on the restart, or on the initial start here, and just gets into the fence, gets into the 60 of Paulson. Chris Matthews just works his way on through. There's the 91. That was Zach Passon, who came to a stop to try to miss it, but to no avail.
Yeah, I'm actually, I honestly am kind of with these guys. I'm a little bit surprised that there was some wheel spin in the past. There used to be quite a bit, but these guys have less horsepower than they had in previous years, but still quite a bit of wheel spin, I guess, due to just not a lot of grip on the surface.
So a couple cars, there's a lot of damage. Zach Passon, not the way he wanted to start the night, with a big chuck taken out of the front of that 91 car. Also, can I just note before you say what you're going to say, Staples changed their logo, and I hate it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is I saw this on social media. This is the new Staples logo, and it's awful. I hate
Why
it.
would they change it? It was so good.
It was so good before, and that's
that's so boring.
yeah. And not to pick on Zach for the livery choice, but the
Oh
logo.
no, it's a great paint scheme, but yeah, that Staples sucks. That's for doing that. That's
I guess we're not getting sponsored by Staples anytime soon.
I don't want to be with that logo. But yeah, that's unfortunate for Zach Passon. Didn't even get across the start-finish line. He already had some damage. It barely didn't even technically start the race, and has a damaged car to deal with.
So caution out here early.
And actually, if we could take this time to go to commercial quick, because there's a small error.
Yeah, I know the cameras are not loaded in. Thank you for noticing that. We were a little bit late coming off of the Elite Modified Tour, so I didn't get a chance to put the cameras in. So we're going to go update those. These are great, Finian, but I'm going to put your brand new ones in. So we'll be right back. Stay with us. Okay, we're back. Yeah, I got my stuff together here again. I have one job when we start every broadcast, that's to make sure we got the cameras all lined up, and now we do. And so we got some nice zoomed in cameras. This is a new camera that we've started putting on all the tracks, and this is nice because we get to look at everyone real close up, which I enjoy. You get to enjoy all the liveries. This 21 car, Perk Coffee on the 21 this week. That is a great looking livery. The teal, the yellow, and the silver. It's just a solid looking paint scheme. It almost looks like a Christopher Bell base. You know, the old truck, the Ford truck.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of looks, has that kind
of
that look to it. There's Brian Chambliss in the 45 on the inside lane with drive to end Hunger on the side.
Yeah, he's also been a surprise so far tonight. Obviously, haven't really got a whole lot of green flag racing, but surprising to be up in the field, as well as Will Roberts in the 39. Great start for him.
And the 24, Thomas Bresci, didn't get a great qualifying effort, but he's going to bring that Rainbow Warrior 24 up to the front. We know he's talented. This is actually, I believe, his home track tonight, so he should be a driver worth watching to go get a victory tonight.
Yeah, and definitely forced to be reckoned with because he's second in the points, although he is 172 points behind Anthony DeBarro. And even though the modified point system, that's still a huge lead because I think that's almost 2 races worth of a lead over the second place driver. So DeBarro off to a fantastic start to the season with 3 wins to his name, 4 top 5s, and 5 top 10s, so in 5 starts.
All right, so we've seen how tricky and challenging the racetrack is. 110 degrees on the concrete. We're going to restart here momentarily as the lights shut off on the pace car, and that, I believe, is John Wilco in the 62 who is going to get a lap back. I think he got into the server a little late, but that's going to leave us 34 cars on the racetrack. Brandon Key, the only driver out of the race after his crash on the opening pace lap, I guess you could say.
That thing, too, I'm pleasantly surprised with, and I don't want to jinx it, but these guys have had some fantastic car numbers. Out of many leagues I've participated in and seen, it's really impressive.
Getting over 30, sorry to interrupt you, but getting over 30 is hard to do. Getting over 30 drivers that are talented and can get through a race with only a couple of yellows. And I don't want to speak too soon because we've had such good luck.
I don't want to say it either.
But I've been so impressed so far this season with the Fuel Racing League and how far it's come. They never really were bad by any stretch of the imagination, but this is certainly the best start to a season we've had in the 3 seasons we've done the Cup Series for them. Also, there may or may not be some IndyCar returning to SimTV in the next couple weeks, so keep your eye out for some open wheel action on the network. Jeff Ward is going to be on the outside, on the inside of Greg Evans for the restart. We'll try this again on lap number 6. 89-46. Green flag back in the air.
And much cleaner start for everyone, giving each other a lot more room to work with, and looks like there's no wheel spin, and we're underway here at Dover.
Much cleaner start through turns 1 and 2 already. Ward breaking away, a solid restart for him, and Greg Evans trying to strip away from Nick Cohan and Alec Martinez, who battled for second down the back straight off into turn 3. Side by side, Cohan takes the spot.
Yeah, already guys getting spread out, just trying to find their way in line and get each other sorted out. Robert Hill a little bit up on the high lane.
And that's that black and white number 30, the Toyota Camry in 13th, and right behind Shane Ewing, Thomas Bresci sits in 15th right now.
Bresci looking to the outside of the 32, trying to make way.
Off into turn 3, speeds over 170 miles an hour up the road. Timothy Johnston in the 28 car, a championship contender from last season, in 11th place right now, getting passed by Buchanan and trying to get by Matt Bell in the 77. Onto the back straightaway once again. Jeff Ward beginning to pull a little bit of a gap on Greg Evans. Down the back straight, that is Will Roberts and Matt Bell now fighting for 9th place.
Bell looking to the inside. Roberts maintaining his lane on the outside. Looks like Zach Buchanan trying to join Roberts. There, gets a little bit close to the wall.
Oh, car on the fence in the background. That is the 5 of Colin Fambro.
Has a little bit of a tap up the wall. He's got a whole bunch of damage, but looks like Matt Bell's starting to ike out on the bottom lane. And will be to get past Will Roberts.
Thomas Bresci to the inside of Robert Hall down in turn number 3, door to door as they work towards lap number 10 already. So the laps click off very quickly here, only about 23 seconds to get through a lap, and Bresci takes over the 13th spot, sets sail for 12th. Let's jump back to Sam Crow in the number 0 car. Justin Guthrie in the Dunkin' Donuts 18. Guthrie's had some flashes of some really good runs. Hasn't quite gotten the finishes he's deserved, though, so curious to see how tonight will go for the number 18.
Yeah, it's quite a few cars to work with to try to get up to the front, but still having a decent run in 19.
Rick Thompson in the 76. Won a couple races in the first couple seasons, but has not been to victory lane lately. Got the Air Force on the side of that number 76 machine and fighting for, looks like that is 22nd spot with Hayden Pistorius in the 19 car. Back for second place, Greg Evans has it. Cohan, Martinez, DeBarro, 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Here comes Cohan with a big head of steam, trying to find a way around Greg Evans, but nothing, it doesn't look like Greg Evans is budging anytime soon. See Anthony DeBarro getting up all behind Alec Martinez in the 54.
Martinez has been I don't want to say surprising this season, but has certainly jumped right in. Of course, Alec is a real young kid. I think he's only 14, 15 years old.
13.
13? Is that oh, Jesus, I thought he had his birthday. But he's a real young kid, and he just jumps right in here. And he races like he belongs with the big guys. And you know what? He's proved himself so far this season, and I think he'll continue to do that running inside the top 5. Will Roberts down to 15th. He's had an issue. And a little bit of right side damage on that car as well. Let's jump back and see what happened. Out of turn 4. I think he was just trying to get out of this mess. Maybe just went high and let everyone through.
Yeah, I think he saw Timothy Johnson coming in and said, nope, I don't want to go 3 wide at this point. Just let him on by.
Smart driving at this point in the race. Got a long way to go. No reason to throw yourself into turmoil early. Here's Casey Lakatos, and that is Tyler Dolger in the 88. Talking about Dolger having some awful luck. The first season in the Fuel Racing League had some good runs. The second season had an atrocious year. Just all sorts of bad luck. Hasn't really had some strong runs yet this year, but trying to improve that in round 6.
He's already been in the wall. I see some crinkles in his right front, so already not off to a good start of the night. 15 laps in of 175.
Matt Bell, Thomas George for 8th place right now. Bell's also been super impressive so far this year. Hasn't quite been good enough to win, but he's been in the picture as he gets into the wall out of turn 4, and George goes right on by.
That was a decent lick. You see the right front crumpled in for him. But not enough for George to get on by. Bell's still able to maintain in front of him in that Petronas machine.
So the outside lane at Dover, I don't think it's really been a line that you could use in the past, but it seems like with this newer package, it's a more viable option. Why do you think that is?
I think, again, with these cars, they become such more momentum-based, so you really want to keep as much speed and going through the corner as possible, especially on exit. And, you know, you always used to get good runs off the corner on the high lane, but even I think more so with this package is that really important to keep going. So a lot of guys are going to try to offer the high lane, maybe not this point in the run, maybe later on.
This racetrack is also super challenging. There's not any safer barrier on corner exits, so when you get out there, if you get into the wall, it hurts a lot more than if you hit safer barrier. So even if you scrape the wall, generally you can get a lot of damage, more so than you would normally think. How about Casey Shu running in 7th? Hasn't really been a spectacular start to the season in the 4 car, trying to kind of rebound a little bit in the number 4, and had a good run at Daytona and could have won that race, but things didn't quite pan out that way. Running 7th right now.
Resi sideways in the background in 11th. Trying to make up for a relatively poor qualifying effort, but in the points position again is doing pretty solid in 2nd. Currently running in 11th, trying to track down Buchanan, George, and Bell off the road. Almost
pointed his way into a championship last season, just needed a couple more things to go his way. Exceptionally talented at the road courses, and he was joking with us last season that we always hype him up for those, and he never really runs quite as well as we think, but you know, I think this season is going to be a good season for him. I think he breaks through and gets a victory. I just think in general, the competition in this series has certainly equaled out, and I don't think there's any one driver that's going to dominate this year.
No, I think there's probably every single week at least 10 drivers that got a solid shot at the win just going into each race. So very competitive field going into this season, which I haven't really seen in years past. Definitely the win column doesn't show it this season so far, as it's been dominated by Anthony DeBarra. As you look at Zach Buchanan trying to make a pass on Thomas George.
Yeah, Buchanan again has had a lot of hardware issues so far this year that's kept him from competing to the level he'd like to. Obviously very talented. It's certainly a top 5 to top 10 driver. I don't know if he's quite ready to win races yet, but give him a good racetrack and some time and some luck, I think he'd be winning capable for sure.
Yeah, and he's one of those drivers I would count as definitely a contender for the top 10, top 5 every single week. But yeah, hasn't been able to get in that wins column. Might be able to turn that around fairly shortly because he's got some pretty solid pace.
I'm going to make a bold prediction that we're going to see more first-time winners this season than we have in seasons past.
Well, if Anthony DeBarra decides not to show up, I would say so, because he's currently running in 4th. Hasn't really been able to get past his teammate in the 21. But yeah, he's, again, with 3 wins in 5 races, an absolute dominant performance this season so far.
So with the discussion last week at Texas Motor Speedway about how challenging it really was to make any kind of passes, especially towards the front, you know, guys like Anthony DeBarra, do you think that bothers you? If you see that you've got more wins in the column than anybody else, and you run 4th and you can't pass anybody, does that make you angry, or is that just part of the deal?
I think that's just part of the deal, and I can't imagine he's really frustrated with the way he's performing. Currently running in 4th, and still got a long way to go in this race. We'll see if he can, try to play the strategy and move himself up track position-wise.
Derek Paulson in the 60 got tagged in that opening lap accident. But it seems like he's turning his night around quite nicely in that 60 car, up to 23rd. Battling Sam Crow in the 0 car. And it looks like John Rodden is off the pace in the 33, and big damage to this car. I think he's been in the wall.
Been in the wall harder, been into something really hard.
This is actually a little while ago. This might have been from earlier in the race, so I don't want to jump back too far.
I was going to say, the only way I could see him getting that much damage without a caution coming out is if he got it running into someone at the start.
Yeah, I don't. He's had this damage for a while, so I'm not going to go back to the replay, but he is down on the pit lane here and going to probably service this machine. On the racetrack right now, nothing super notable happening up towards the front, but Riley Thompson and Justin Guthrie trading spots for 19th.
Thompson gonna fall in behind the 18. Whoa! Guthrie in the wall off of turn 2, and in fact that's gonna open the door for Thompson's teammate Hayden Pistorius to go up the inside.
I don't think there's a whole lot of damage. That right side is a bit crinkled, but it wasn't a huge impact.
Yeah, but enough to kill momentum to not only lose the car he was fighting with, but also another car in behind him. So, you know, the momentum is key here, trying to keep that going. There you see Rick Thompson now trying to make a pass.
Yeah, Thompson in the 76 car tonight. He started in 29th, up 7 spots. Good climb so far. Nick Cohan and DeBarro getting closer and closer. This 27 car looking more and more like a threat. Wasn't quite as quick as the leader Jeff Ward last time through, but he's pretty close.
I don't imagine these guys are going to do anything too crazy. Both have a win, in the win. I don't know. They both have a win. I don't know. They both have at least one win this season. That's what I was trying to say. So I don't think they're really going to force the issue, especially as you can see on the screen. They're not that far behind the leader, Jeff Ward. There's nothing really to do. No need to make a crazy move so far. As actually, if we go back to the 24 Thomas Bressy, he's getting racing with Matt Bell in the 77.
And right behind Robert Hall, who's got a great view of all this. Camaro versus Camaro on the back straight. And Bressy trying to climb forward after that qualifying effort. And clips the apron there just a touch. But we're seeing the outside lane have a lot of legitimacy here, even pretty early in the race. And as the rubber builds up on the outside line, it'll be a better and better line as the night goes on. So for a bottom feeder driver that likes to stick on the bottom, that's not going to be what they want to see. But for some other drivers, we see the 32 way up by the wall. I think it's not going to be. It's going to be a lot better for those drivers that need some mobility.
Whoa! Bell in the wall.
Oh, he's in the fence, and he's going to spin across the racetrack. Gets tagged by the 32 of Ewing. Caution out right in the middle of the track. Big impact for the 39 of Will Roberts and the 99 of Vic Bloom. It was a hard impact.
Yeah, and the caution came out kind of late there, so I don't think they had really much of a clue that anything was happening.
Yeah, I don't think they would have had a chance either way as Matt Bell tries to slide down the racetrack. Our second caution of the night, and first crash we've seen in quite some time. But yeah, this all started with an impact in the wall out of turn 2. And for Matt Bell, ride down the banking. They call this a self-cleaning racetrack. Let's go back a little bit farther here. They call this place a self-cleaning racetrack because it kind of disposes of all the wrecked race cars, but the problem is if you wreck to the outside, you're going to slide on down. So he gets into the wall.
Yeah, got loose. He actually just kind of careened into the wall.
Just spin up, and Ewing had nowhere to go.
Yeah, he really couldn't avoid that, and the entire racetrack was blocked.
Everyone else did a really good job getting by this, but for the 99 of Vic Bloom and for the 39 of Will Roberts, not much they could have done to miss this. What an impact.
Yeah, they went into it hard. Even Gael Brooks got a piece of that.
Here's another look in slow motion for Matt Bell and Ewing getting together, and this is going to be a big impact for the 32.
Really unfortunate for Ewing because he's a really fast driver and has some potential, but it's just really gotten involved in unfortunate situations. And then here you see Roberts trying to slow down. He's going to tag the 99, but they both clobber the 32.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah. Ewing's car is destroyed. Vic Bloom's car is destroyed. Roberts got a good piece that he might be able to continue on.
And he couldn't even see this all going on
and
up the road.
you can see, too, the green is still out, so they couldn't tell until they finally got into the corner and saw 2 cars blocking the track. And if we can actually take the next
we're going to go back and look at that and see if they pass the caution light. I mean, again, I don't blame them for not being able to stop. This was a pretty hard one to miss. But let's ride on board with Will Roberts here on board his roll bar, and let's see. So still green here, obviously, as the wreck is just beginning to happen up the road. And he's got his vision blocked by the 99. Still green as he passes the light. Still green as he passes this light, and nothing he could have done. And a horrible impact for those 2 cars. So they will probably end their night there as the field has come down onto the pit lane. Some strategy being played out by Casey Shue and Casey Lakatis. Maybe just trying to lead some laps before dropping back to the rear of the field.
Yeah, we see that's been the name of the game for quite a few of these drivers, just getting out there, getting some points. And even Casey Lakatos, too, he's been playing that game pretty well, and is currently 9th in points going into this round.
We want to thank Mission 22 for coming on board, sponsoring the Mission 22 Cup Series. Of course, their mission is being united in the war against veteran suicide. Please consider donating to the Mission 22 effort, and there's a link in the video description available for you to check out. Of course, we will donate $10 every time that the 00 of Don Runkle Jr. finishes inside the top 5. He's currently sitting in 21st. But not a great night for him so far. So 34 laps complete of 175. We've had 2 cautions so far slowing our progress. One on the opening lap, and the second one on lap number 31 involving the 77 of Matt Bell, the 39 of Will Roberts, and the 99 of Vic Bloom. And I think for most of these cars, it'll probably be night over. You can grab me a Coke? I mean, I would have. You could have asked. All right, Finian's gonna go grab me a Coke because he got one for himself and didn't get one for me. I'll have a cherry Coke, I guess. We want to thank Coca-Cola. Actually, the Coca-Cola bottling plant of Kokomo is actually coming on board to sponsor the Indy Elite the Indy Elite Series that runs on Sunday night. And so it's a pleasure to have the Coca-Cola colors on board with us on Sundays. And nothing quite better than grabbing a cold Coca-Cola to enjoy a race with, and that's what we're gonna do here in just a moment. So our second caution of the night, Greg Evans is actually going to take the lead over. DeBarro sits 3rd, Jeff Ward in 2nd. Thank you, Finian. And they're going to break open our ice-cold Cokes. Please sponsor us.
Well, technically.
I mean, technically, I just mentioned the Indy Elite thing, but it's not Coca-Cola corporate, but I'll take it.
It's close enough.
All right. Field re-racking, restacking. Greg Evans assumes the lead for the restart. He'll choose the inside lane. Is this the way to go here, Finny? We've seen in the past the inside's the place to be at some racetracks, the outside for others. What's your choice?
I think definitely so. Again, with this car, by the time you pretty much only get up to speed by the time you get up to the back straightaway. You're still accelerating for the most part through turns 1 and 2. So I think he's just opting for the shorter way around the track. It's going to be easier for him to try to navigate ahead of Jeff Ward.
All right, so far we've had a couple retirements. Shane Ewing, Will Roberts, Marshall Stanley, Zach Passon, Brandon Key. And I think the 99 of Vic Bloom and Matt Bell are also out. So we've actually lost a pretty significant number of cars. Christopher Matthews is rolling out on the racetrack right now in 92 car, 3 laps down. Not a whole lot of damage on this car, a slight left side scrape. We'll see if he can recover some of his night. Going back to the restart, Greg Evans on the inside, Camaro, Mustang, and 2 Camrys, the front 2 rows, green flag back in the air.
And a great start for Greg Evans, as well as other drivers in behind. I see Anthony DeBarro immediately trying to get in single file, as well as Nick Cohen and Alex Martinez and Thomas George in behind him.
There's Zach Buchanan and Brian Chambliss door-to-door off turn 2, battling down the back straight, off into turn 3, 175 miles an hour on fresh tires.
I will say this is honestly one of the few tracks actually like this new package ad. It gives you a lot of grip to work with, and you can race side by side without almost killing each other through the turns.
Jeff Ward wants his lead back. He led the opening part of this race, but DeBarro with a strong run to the outside lane. Can he do anything with it, though? Maybe too soon after a restart for that grip to be there.
Yeah, I think he's trying to get ahead of these guys before the tires start to wear out, at least the good in them to start to wear out, so he can try to make a pass. Chambliss goes up the racetrack. Buchanan's going to get on by, and Timothy Johnson trying to get to Chambliss, can't get it done.
Thomas Bresci up to 7th place, looking for 6th on the 9 car now. And for Bresci, again, he was really excited walking in tonight. Thought this might be a good opportunity for him to win. Narrowly missed the accident with Matt Bell earlier and looks to work his way towards the top 5. It's the 54 that he needs to catch to be there. And he's going to take the spot away from the 9 car, and he should be able to clear him here in the next couple of corners.
He's going to try to clear him on entry here. Should be able to do it. And there he will go, and that opens the door for Zach Buchanan. He actually backs out of it, trying to get to the 9. But that 40 car really started to move up the order.
Greg Evans leads the way, but he has not been able to pull away from the 89 of Jeff Ward, nose to tail as they enter turn 3 and 4.
And they're all running really close in behind each other here. I'm actually kind of surprised that they're not trying to fan out, get a little bit more grip, and get out of the aero wash, but it seems like it's not really affecting these guys a whole lot.
So these cars at this racetrack, they do a thing that the drivers always describe as takeoff and landing, Finian. Why is that the case here versus any other racetrack?
Yeah, again, like I said earlier, there's a bit of a hill coming on. You pretty much go over a hill on the corner exit here. It's kind of hard to see from this angle, but you go over and then the car kind of settles back down. And it used to be a death sentence when these guys had lower downforce, but with the big wing on the back and less horsepower, it's a lot more easier to manage.
Yeah, so essentially the way the banking kind of falls away, you actually come up a short rise before compressing down into the banking, and the drivers describe that as landing. When you get all the compression in the springs and takeoff on corner exit, you go over the same hump, you lose a lot of grip out there. You see a lot of drivers understeering into the fence, you see a lot of drivers oversteering into the fence. The battle for second is on. Ward has it, and DeBarro wants it right on the tailgate of that 89.
Yeah, he's been jogging him all over since the restart. Even Ward actually now trying to make a move at Greg Evans. Couldn't get it done. That backs him into the 27's hands here.
Close racing at the front of the field. 42 laps complete. And I'm surprised the air wash has not been a bigger deal like you mentioned, but here comes Bresci in the 24. It's been a great climb. Started 16th, up to 6th, looking for 5th place now on Alec Martinez.
Yeah, Martinez going a little bit defensive, running a lane up from the 24, just trying to keep that high lane. That's, I think, a great defensive. You see even Cohen, too, going way high.
The problem is to be able to get the corner exit you need to be able to diamond the exit. The 40 car of Buchanan scrapes the wall there, but he'll continue without too much drama. Great, tight, close racing here. Ward sits second. DeBarro in third on the backstretch. Cohan falling off the pace just a touch. I think this 27 car is going to be extremely dangerous if he can get to the top spot.
Yeah, I'm sure definitely Ward and Evans know that, and he gets a great run off the corner. He's going to look to the inside of Jeff Ward with a huge head of steam, and it looks like Ward's going to give it to him.
Yeah, he's going to give him that spot easily, so put DeBarro up to second, and Greg Evans, of course, our first champion, Borrow our second. And we'll see if either of these guys can repeat. Greg Evans certainly did not adjust to the new package quite as quickly as the rest of the field, but he looks like he's got a grip on it tonight.
Yeah, he's pretty much a new man this season. This is pretty much what you expected of him. Last season wasn't that good. This season he's been a force to reckon with through the first 5 rounds. He's yet to get a win. Might be able to get that first one of the season tonight.
Timothy Johnston in the 28 car, another driver that seemed to do a little bit better before the swap to the higher downforce package, but was a Fuel Finals contender last season, had some bad luck at Rockingham that took him out of it, but I think this season is a season for redemption for this 28. I think that this 28 car can be the champion this year. I think it's just going to be able to take a little bit longer, a few more weeks to really get into his groove.
Yeah, he's really one of the best guys in the points game, was a points leader, or got in with the highest guy, and was the highest guy in the points without a win. So we definitely know he's consistent, and he continues to run in ninth.
Robert Hall is ineligible for the championship this year, Finney, and he has not started enough races to be eligible for the championship, but he came out last week at Texas with a vengeance and led a bunch of laps there in that number 30. Sits 11th right now. We know he's capable of winning races after watching last week, but will not be able to compete for the championship.
Yeah, and then here's the thing, with only 2 starts, he's 16th in the points.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so he's definitely a force to be reckoned with. Even though he's not going to be competing for this championship, he's going to be a force to reckon with in the wins column, I would imagine, a few weeks in.
Greg Evans and Anthony DeBarro running first and second. Alec Martinez seems like he's holding up a slight line of cars here. Bresci, George Buchanan, Johnson, and some more drivers right behind.
Yeah, Bresci's trying to just kind of stall out for now. I'm curious if he's just kind of waiting for the 54 to burn up his stuff and then resume his attack. As he doesn't want to try to burn out his stuff, because as he said, there's a huge train of cars here. Field
getting separated and spread out just a little bit. 50 laps complete here. We've had 2 cautions so far. We've had 2 lead changes at the front of the field. It's been all Greg Evans and the 89 of Jeff Ward. Right now, though, the 27, we've talked about how dominant he is. I think if he gets out front, he's going to set sail. But Jeff Ward putting pressure back. I think he wants the lead back here early in this one.
Yeah, DeBarro's been backing up his corners here, and that's been opening the door for the 89 to try to look to the inside. You see a lot of these guys running up the hill just a little bit and then diming it back down on exit.
And the front 4 are kind of broken away. Then it's another 8 or 9 cars. Back to Riley Thompson and Hayden Pistorius. And then from there on back, everyone's pretty much playing nice at this point. Got about 28 cars still running on the racetrack at the moment. And Alec Martinez and Bresci now fighting for 5th. I think Bresci's going to make pretty short work of this 5th 4.
Yeah, we'll see that. Alex Hellion is pretty hard to beat, especially on the exit here. Martinez does a nice run down the straightaway, and Bresci's going to have to give up the attack.
And we mentioned Thomas Bresci. It's been, he's had some really good luck in this series. He's also had some bad luck, but one thing he has not had is a victory, and he's so hungry for one. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some strategy played a little bit later in the season to maybe sneak away one of those wins, but he was going to work over the 54. He should be able to clear him, and he will. So Martinez gives up the 5th spot. Here comes Thomas George to the inside.
And here comes the rest of the cars following in through. George trying to take advantage of that open opportunity.
Slides up into the 54, contact slightly. Buchanan is also in the fence behind. Just a slight scrape.
Now Timothy Johnson trying to follow his way through as Thomas George gets clear of the 54.
Yeah, Martinez looks like he might be struggling just a touch. Taking a look at the track conditions, they're about 112 degrees. We've seen Alec really excel on the hot racetracks, but I can't say Dover is one of his best racetracks, although I know he has won a race here in the Virtual Racing League, so this is a site of where he has won in the Cup Series in the past.
Whoa, there's a 50 car, I think the 58 car of Riley Thompson was all loose down out of turn 4, was able to save it.
Greg Evans has actually stretched his lead out to half a second now, and Ward's still putting pressure on the 27. And look at how high up he's going. He's really trying to diamond these corners. It's so interesting because I haven't really seen this line be so effective until this package allowed you to make that turn down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, it seems trying to run a lane out from the 27 and at least try to find some way around him. But Barlow has not been able to catch Greg Evans. Evans, you can see, has iked out to a little bit of a lead over the rest of the pack.
I'm just watching this 24 car because he's running lap times consistent, if not as quick as the leader. And you see how quickly he's broken away from the cars that he just passed in 6th, 7th, and 8th. And this 24 car is coming. Again, he started 16th place tonight. A home track effort for the 24 and coming forward. What do you think about pit stops? What time do you think we'll see them? We're 24 laps into the run, about halfway through the run?
Yeah, I would think we're probably around halfway.
Jeff Ward has just gotten around DeBarro, so a strong pass for the 89. Two of our Fuel Final Four contenders from last season duking it out here at the Monster Mile.
Brian Chambliss and Zach Buchanan going at it.
Chambliss has had a lot of success here, and I'd say, of course, Brian Chambliss, another competitor in the Outsider Racing League, he's actually had more success here in the few weeks that he's started here than in ORL. So this has been a really competitive season so far for the 45. I think he needs a little bit more to really be competitive for the win. As you see Thompson get up into the wall again, seems like he's struggling a little bit right now.
Yeah, he's been consistently loose and in the wall as well. You can see Hayden Pistorius, his teammate in behind, is looking for a pass.
Both these cars have climbed forward since the start of the race. Colin Fambro he scraped the wall early in that Armor All Toyota Camry, but now has that thing pointed in the right direction. And any of that damage he had looks pretty much fixed, so he's on a tear right now as the 58 pulls over, lets his teammate on by as well as the 5 car. Jump back a little farther in the field. Here's Casey Lakatos and Norm Pelletier. This is a fight for 19th place. And Lakatos gets on through. Pelletier with a lot of front-end damage, presumably from one of those incidents earlier in the night.
Yeah, he's just kind of navigating through the traffic. Rick Thompson's going to go to the inside of Pelletier.
Battles throughout the racetrack all over the place. Hayden Pistorius and Colin Fambro real tight together out of turn 2, but Fambro takes the spot away.
Fambro's starting to move up. We saw him, I think we saw him in the wall.
Yeah, I mentioned a couple minutes ago that he scraped the wall only a couple laps into the start, but he got that mostly fixed, so he should be in good shape. Let's jump back a little ways. Justin Guthrie in the 18. Remember, we saw him smack the wall earlier. Car looks like it's gotten in the right direction. Casey Lakatos is also looking pretty quick right now. In this number 50 car. And this has been an extraordinarily good start to the season. You mentioned 9th in points and some bad luck even for the 50 car this season. So I think we've seen that Lakatos is really a pretty talented driver and is making his way up through the grid right now.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those guys that really ends up where he needs to be when it matters. He's not running the best right now in 19th, but I mean, I can imagine he's probably going to break inside the top 15, top 10, probably before the end of the night.
And that's the one thing we always notice about drivers like Casey Lakatos, and even, I kind of liken him to a Matt Grunberg, maybe not in the wins column, but a driver that hangs around the top 15, top 20 all race, and then just miraculously shows up inside the top 10 with only a couple minutes left. There is the 76 Rick Thompson on the outside. Thompson again, one of those drivers that was a championship contender the first season of the Fuel Racing League and just really never latched onto this newer package like everybody else did. And it seems to have hurt the 76's performance. He won some races the first season out, hasn't won since then, so looking for some redemption in that 76 car. Up front, Jeff Ward is beginning to reel in Greg Evans as the caution flies.
I think that was Guthrie, yeah.
Derek Paulson in the 60 car.
Oh.
Is off the racetrack with some crash damage.
I thought it was Guthrie because I could have sworn when we changed camera that I thought I saw him sliding through the screen.
I thought that was the case as well, but just got loose off turn 4 and Got into the fence hard into the inside wall, and that'll probably be the end of the night for the 60 car, unfortunately. But I figured we were getting to the point in the night where the tires begin to wear off and we start to see issues like that. That is our third caution of the evening, and everyone's going to take this opportunity to come get four Mr. Feelgoods, as Larry Mack would say.
Yeah, I'm sure these guys are happy to get the tires. I imagine and it's been quite a few drivers that we've seen struggling once the tires wear out, so they should be happy to get down on pit road, be able to get some fresh ones on.
I think that was actually Darrell Waltrip's quote, the four Mr. Feelgoods thing.
I don't know, one of the two.
All right, third caution of the night, lap number 66. This is a pretty, I don't want to say it's a long race. It's got a lot of laps, but they tick off pretty quickly as the field rolls into the pit lane here. The lead did change under the last pit stop sequence, so I'm curious to see if that'll happen again this time through.
Yeah, this is really a place where you can make a huge mistake on pit road. It can cost you a lot of positions. There's 24 drivers on the lead lap. You get an EOL, you're going to go even further back than that because there's quite a few few lap down cars still running.
This will give a couple drivers some opportunities to get some laps back. Brent Jones being one of them in the 09. And not a scratch on that car. It might have just, actually, is there a scratch on that car?
Doesn't seem like it.
Right front,
yeah.
Slight damage, but he should get an opportunity to get a lap back with a wave around here. John Rodden in the 33, that car trying to get repaired. Still not sure what happened to this car to get him down so far, but Casey Licata is staying out on the racetrack. This is all planned here, Finning, to get that point for leading a lap.
Yeah, wasn't able to get on the last caution. He's going to stay out there to make sure he picks it up this time through, and as the race off pit road sorts itself out, Greg Evans seems to be the one who will inherit the lead, and it's Anthony DeBarro.
So DeBarro was able to leapfrog Jeff Ward. That was the only change here, though, although Ward might be in the catbird seat to take the spot back away if Evans chooses the inside for the restart. So Lakatos is going to peel off and head down pit lane. The question is, did he lead a lap already? I can actually check that. Yes, he did, so he's good to go. So Greg Evans will continue to lead this race in the Chevy Certified Service Camaro, and I just love this livery. It's the gray and the yellow and the white work so well together.
Yeah, really, from what I've seen from a lot of guys on iRacing, is real life cars need to step up their paint schemes.
They do. Just look at some of these schemes. I mean,
they really suck nowadays, for lack of a better word. They're not that good. There's some iconic schemes, like from the mid 2000s to late 2000s, even the early 2010s. There's some fantastic, memorable cars like the Affleck car off the Depot.
Oh, the Affleck car. Oh, no. The thing is if you
3M.
think about like the Darlington Throwback Night, some of those cars look amazing because it's not so much about how fancy of a design you can put on. It's about the simplicity of it and the paint colors. I mean, when's the last time we saw like a super deep metallic car? Maybe Chase Elliott's ugly, fugly looking Mountain Dew car.
Yeah, and also that's another thing too. Cars are pretty damn dull.
Yeah.
Like in the paint and even design-wise. I mean, again, like you said, it doesn't have to be complex, but they just don't look good.
How about this one though?
Yeah, that's a really nice one.
This is the work of Jordan Ashland. Although I have to look up the artist here. Forgive me for a moment while I look this up.
For the logo?
Not for the logo, for the artwork itself.
Oh. I know what you're talking about.
I'm trying to see if I can find the name of that person. You're going to have to bear with me for a moment. But the Jordan Ashland was the one that painted this car. And the name of the artist is Kyle Bento, is the one who designed the poster that this is based off of, which is the poster from Grid Life Midwest, which is where I got the opportunity to commentate over the summer out in Michigan.
Look at the rear deck lid. It'll be kind of hard to see. Look at that sponsor on the right side.
Oh, the Rig Share sponsor? That's a throwback to the first season of the Fuel Cup Series.
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
All right, doubling back up, and DeBar will have the outside lane for the restart here shortly.
Yeah, and also here's the thing too. Out of the first 5 races, all of them have been won by Toyotas, by a single team. Disney Motorsports has taken all 5 of the wins so far this season. So if Greg Evans were to win, he'd be the first non-Toyota and car of a different team to win.
The first non-Toyota to win.
Yeah.
Really? So it's been Toyotas all season long so far?
Yeah, it's all been Disney Motorsports.
Wow.
Not Thomas. I keep saying Thomas Stewart. Timothy Johnson with 1 win. Nick Cohen with
Johnson won a race?
Yeah.
What? What race was that?
Daytona?
Johnson won Daytona?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow, I totally forgot about that. I've been Been crazy around here on Sim TV. Green flag back in the air, lap number 70. Evans fires off, and some scrambling in the midfield, 3 wide. Everyone trying to get out of the way.
Some slower cars and guys trying to get up to speed. Looks like everyone's able to get around there. You see Zach Cannon stuck down the order. He's stuck in behind the 76.
That Sam Crow in the 0 had a hard time getting going. 3 wide towards the rear of the field. Everyone getting settled out. For the top spot, though, here comes DeBarro to the inside. Ward way up the racetrack in turns 3 and 4, side by side for the lead.
Yeah.
Evans and DeBarro, the 2 previous champions of the series.
Yeah, DeBarro wasting no time trying to get to the inside of Greg Evans, but looks like that battle was up to nothing as he's going to fall back inside the second. Here comes Nick Cohen, his teammate behind him.
Yeah, Cohan's coming, as is Thomas Bressi, but Cohan drops out of line to the inside of the 27. Will take that spot away.
Yeah, I think DeBarro is letting Nick Cohen have his shot at trying to take the lead, and will try to follow in through. Some teammates are working together early on.
Woo! The 5 car was flirting with the wall. So did the 76. I think he got it. Got a piece of it there on the front straight.
Might have hit the camera. He got so close.
Thomas Bressi up to 4th place. This 24 car is my pick to win this race tonight. So solid so far after starting in 16th, methodically working his way forward up inside the top 5 now. But Nick Cohan looking really strong in this restart as well. He has won a race, Darlington, a few weeks ago. Won that race after some contact with the 46. So these two have some history here, Finney. And I think most of that's been forgotten and is in the back of the drivers' minds. But should the 21 lay another bumper to the 46, I don't think it'd be kosher. Everything that happens after that. Bressi to the inside of the 27. Can't quite make it stick.
Yeah, I was trying to uproot him out of the line, but Bar's going to stay in it and remain in 3rd. But Bressi looking really racy here.
A lot of action around the racetrack right now. There's Hayden Pistorius on the back of Colin Fambro right now for 11th place. And Cohan wants the keys to the castle. He's just got to get by Evans right now. The Monster Mile, the Miles the Monster, staring over the edge of this racetrack, just waiting to claim some more victims. It's claimed about 5 or 6 cars so far tonight. Miles is always hungry. Off into turn 1. DeBarro looking strong on the inside lane, trying to get back to the 21 car, but can't do it. Bressi, though, lurking behind and actually ran quicker than the leader.
You can see that Bressi's been in the wall a little bit. You can see a little bit of a crinkle in the right front. I feel a lot of drivers have met the wall at some point in the day.
I feel like Dover is the new Darlington when it comes to the Dover strike.
I mean, you can really just see by the way these guys are running the racing line right up against the wall like Darlington on exit. So a lot of these guys getting pretty close to it.
Alec Martinez is a bit of a gaggle behind him. Thomas George, Brian Chambliss, and Robert Hall in the 30.
As we approach the middle part of this race, that it doesn't look like he's up to snuff as he was at the beginning.
No, he's definitely falling back. Norm Pelletier, up to 13th place with that very, very damaged 56 car, although Zach Buchanan buried in traffic here. And Zach had either a pit stop penalty or was fixing some damage. Back, he had a 47-second pit stop.
Yeah, no, I think that's the other way around. 47 was pit lane.
Oh, was I reading the wrong number? Nope, I read the right number.
Oh, I was looking at... Oh.
I was right.
Pelletier had the same exact pit delta. That's why I thought you were reading the wrong one.
Gotcha. Greg Evans, 0.3 of a second lead right now. We have just under 100 laps to go. And that 46 car has led 44 of our 78 laps. Cohan has led 0. DeBarro has led 0. Bressi's led 0. But Jeff Ward's led another 31 laps. But he's dropped off this lead battle for now. I don't think he's quite as quick. But here comes Johnston in the 28 car.
He's kind of emerging in this, a little bit straggling behind the top 5 of the top 6 in general. Broken away in the 76, very slow on the front straightaway. No caution.
We stay green, but the 76 car has significant damage. He'll pull off the racetrack. What happened here?
I think classic turn 4 here just got up off the line into the wall hard.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah,
I'm amazed that was not a caution.
So he's probably going to be done for the night with that level of damage. For second place, though, Cohan's got it, and DeBarro is right there in case his teammate makes a mistake. But look at how close they're running through turns 3 and 4. And look at Bressi there as well. The sun glinting off the red on the hood.
Here comes DeBarro to the inside, having a look. He's just going to get his fender in there. That's going to be a little bit close quarters for teammates.
Is that a little, hello, teammate, I'm here. Can you let me by?
I don't know. I mean, they would seem to be working together and pretty coordinated, so I'm surprised if they'll try anything crazy here. Again, like I said, they don't really need to force the issue. They both have wins to their names so far.
They're going so fast through these corners. Let's actually ride on board a lap here with the 27 and DeBarro. And we'll go inside the roll bar here and get a better look at the speeds they're carrying around this racetrack. 173 on the straightaway. and down to 138 in the corners. They're just flying around this joint. So they don't brake until they get to the corner. I mean, that's just so amazing to me.
Yeah, they're driving off into the corner still accelerated, which is pretty crazy considering how he used to drive this place.
Yeah, they literally don't brake until they land. But Greg Evans beginning to slightly pull ahead of the lead here. Tyler Dolger slow on the back straight. He's been in the wall.
Yeah, damage to his nose of his car.
Probably a similar story to what happened in the 76, although this time likely out of turn 2. Oh, there was a bit of a stack up. He had swerved to avoid the 0. And no contact, he just had to stop. Caution out. And it's Sam Crow in the 0, and Casey Lakatos is also torn up. Well, Lakatos looks like he's probably going to be all right, although we'll have to double check that. Sam Crow, however, that car is looking pretty torn. Whoa. Here's a look. It's out of turn number 4. Actually, I think the answer was out of turn 2.
Yeah.
I had 10 more seconds than I wanted.
Watch here, I think 0 just got tight or off the corner, just offline.
Oh, there's a slight contact there with the 50. Oh. Big impact there. The 50 car should be all right. But for Sam Crow, that's probably racing ending damage there. So there actually was a little bit of contact leading up to how loose he or how he got into the fence. So watch very carefully on the left rear quarter panel of the 0. There's the contact.
I don't really think he.
It got him a little bit loose, and it pointed him into the wall, and then he bounced off, just tags the 50 in the quarter panel, and sends him into the fence. Everyone back on pit lane. No, actually, no, not everyone on pit lane. About a split strategy here.
Most people on pit lane, though.
So Greg Evans and most of the leaders come down, but DeBarro stays out, along with Martinez, George, Brooks, and Wilco.
So not a whole lot of drivers staying out. Only the top 5 have stayed out, and I imagine some of the guys that have stayed out are gonna probably continue to. They're probably gonna come down this time by.
Well, I don't think DeBarro is gonna come down pit road.
No, I don't think DeBarro or Martinez or George or maybe Gael, Brooks, and Welco might come down. I don't imagine they want to be up here, especially Gail Brooks with his damage. I don't think you want Gael
Brooks. There you go. We got yelled at for that one the other day.
Yeah, but I'm sure he doesn't want to stay up there with the damage he has to his machine.
So, interesting choice here for Alec Martinez. How many laps do we have on these tires? About 20 laps. That's a lot. I would have thought everyone would have come down to pit lane, but maybe they're thinking that the tire drop-off isn't that bad, and maybe they're just chancing we'll get a couple more quick yellows in succession here. I just don't think that's likely. We've gone green quite a ways tonight. I think this is a risk, but maybe they're just trying to hit a fuel number and going and hoping the race goes green to the end.
I think that's exactly what they're going for. And the top 5 will stay out. No one will come on down, so they'll remain as is.
John Wilco was a lap down earlier in this race, and he's jumped back inside the top 5. This is probably just a track position call for him. We got Disney Transport on the side of that machine tonight.
Okay, fancy me this. Is it me or does the Camaro, the new Camaro headlights, do they look better in sim in real life, or is that just me?
They look so much better in the sim.
Right?
Do they have a backing in the sim that they don't in real life?
I don't know. I think they do.
Yeah. I think that's what it is.
They look
in real life, they look like they're just tacked on.
Yeah. That might be it. I don't know what it is, but it looks significant. Because I remember reading in the build updates that we were getting the new headlights. I'm like, oh, great. Because I don't really like how they look in real life. I feel like they look kind of cheesy.
They look so much better.
They just don't look good. But in here, they look really nice. I don't know what they did. If it's incorrect, don't change it.
I just think that there's like a dark backing on it.
That could be yeah, but whatever it is, it looks really nice.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain the ones they have in the Cup cars are just 2 separate decals for each light, and I think they just kind of look pasted on. But either way, you're right. They do look nice, and good eye.
Well, what I find funny too is the fact that again in real life, I prefer just the single ones, which is the newer one that I originally hated when they changed it from the 4 lights to the 2.
The Camaro's rear end design has been questionable. I liked when they had it down consolidated to just the 1 light. I think that was the best version of it. But I think first of all, the new Camaro, awful. The ZL1 is fine.
Yeah, which is what this
is based off of.
Thank God.
Yeah, even the new Xfinity car, I hate that design. This is so much better. it just looks so much more mean. You know,
Yeah.
it's got the bigger grill and everything, and the Mustang looks good, the Camry looks good, this Camaro looks good, but please, God, don't change it when we get the new cars. Coming back to a restart here, it'll be lap number 89. About 34 minutes of racing left. This race is going by pretty quick. We've had 4 yellows, really only 3 of them under competition, though, because the first caution happened right at the start of the race, so essentially we just had a couple more pace laps. So we got the top 5 on 20-lap-old tires, everyone else on fresh Goodyears. We'll see how this pans out.
Did we just pass halfway?
I believe we did.
No.
If I could do math right.
I'm trying to do the math.
But yeah, no, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Green flag back in the air. Martinez slipping and sliding. This is going to be really hard for everyone to get the power down.
Oh, and everyone's stuck in behind Gael Brooks and also Wilco.
Oh, I don't like how this is going to be when they get down to the corner. Brooks have to jump on the, or excuse me, Wilco had to jump on the binders to get out of the way, but DeBarro fires off. And Gael Brooks slow out of turn 2, backing up to the 30. Everyone's scattering. This is not working out for the old tires.
Yeah, and this one I was kind of surprised that they, at least the 71 and...
Oh, that's really tight out of turn 4.
And even Martinez, who started trouble, he's falling back and dropping like a rock. He's back in 6th.
Yeah, I don't see how this was a good idea at all. But lesson learned, I suppose.
Gotta yell at him after... Whoa!
Holy cow! That was the 56 Pelletier saving a slide.
That was an incredible save. Did he watch Ford drop down there? I think he knows that also, too. He's on at a deficit, just trying to find a place to
why would they have done this? I mean, as we got a battle for the lead, Nick Cohan drives right by DeBarro. This is going to be a horrible strategy call.
I gotta yell at Alec for pulling that.
I mean, the thing is Anthony DeBarro is not a driver that usually risks his race on strategy, but that is exactly what he did, and he's going backwards fast.
I'm surprised he didn't just bother coming in again after everyone came into the pits and, just take the loss in track position, because he's going to be, if this goes green for quite a while, which you probably should, they're going to lose a lot of time on the track.
Well, also, I have to commend the rest of the field. That was a really good job of not causing a mess.
Yeah.
Any other series, that would have been a disaster of a restart.
Also good for the guys who are on the older tires for kind of getting out of the way, just kind of knowing that they're at a loss. Making sure they don't just get run over from behind.
We really need tire limits because, I mean, really the only strategy is to get tires every single time. There's really no other way to do this. So I mentioned earlier that my favorite driver to win this race would be Thomas Bressi. Look where he sits in 2nd place and chasing down the leader.
Yeah, and McCoy has no friends up here. He's got only enemies with Bressi, Evans, Ward, and actually not Johnson, but Bressi, Evans, and Ward in behind him.
DeBarro's back in 14th place after that restart, so that really didn't work out so well. Closing on lap number 100, it'll be 75 laps to go. Nick Cohan leads the way. They're the first laps he's led all night long, believe it or not. He's been up towards the front, but not quite good enough to lead. But Bressi is closing in fast. He's also led no laps, but he's gained 14 spots en route to his 2nd place running.
He might be able to get his first lap led. He's closing in quite a bit on Nick Cohan here. I think as soon as he gets the run, he's going to try to go for it here and make a move.
Within a 10th and a half of a second, you start to hit a little bit of that aero wash, but when you're on fresh tires, the effect is a little bit minimalized.
Yeah, honestly, it really has not been much of an effect here tonight. You guys have been able to run in very close to each other without much of an effect. They might have to get out of line a little bit, but nowhere near as we've seen at some of the mile-and-a-half tracks.
Look how hard Bressi's driving off into the corner now, trying to get up underneath the 21, get some clean air on the nose. And he's been quicker the last few laps. That time by 0.02 of a second. But, it's pretty difficult to make a pass around here. He's going to have to step out of the traditional line and make it work. A very tight race up towards the front. Anthony DeBarro falls to 17th. Martinez has already fallen back to 20th. John Wilco back to 23rd. 16 seconds off the lead. That's how big of a difference those tires have meant.
Yeah, even Thomas George will also stayed out. They've all just dropped like rocks to the back end of the grid.
Not really the strategy that they'll try playing for the rest of the night, I imagine. 10th and a half between the two leaders. Greg Evans sits in 3rd, trying to recover the lead that he had for a little while. He led 51 of our 98 laps so far tonight. Still, I think he's probably one of the drivers to beat. Aiden Pistoria is running 7th right now. How about this driver?
Yeah, he's having a really good run tonight. He's had quite a few decent runs throughout the season. You see, started back in 28th, is currently up in the 7th, gained 21 spots.
Robert Hall right behind him. Justin Guthrie has worked his way inside the top 10 along with Colin Fambro in the 5. And then there's Riley Thompson and Zach Buchanan recovering from that pit stop mishap earlier. Riley Thompson in the fence on the front straightaway, out of the way, crashing on the inside wall. He's going to slide up into traffic. Does he get off the racetrack? He will. And a good job collecting that. But for Thompson, this night has been a little bit of a mess here and there.
Significant damage to his car on both sides.
Yeah, just got into the wall, tagged it, and Buchanan did a good job not getting into the back of him.
Thompson did a great job slowing this thing down, trying to keep it off of the racetrack.
So Bressy's been kind of stuck behind Cohan for a little while. Evans is closing the gap to him, and Jeff Ward as well, the pole sitter on the night, who led the first couple laps of this race. We know Ward is good. Maybe just needs some track position to really establish his lead once again.
Yeah, and it looks like they're starting to kind of sort themselves out into about 0.3 of a second gap to about where I think the arrow is starting to get to them. Looks like Devins is actually on a bit of a charge here, might be able to catch up to the 24.
What do you think about a SimTV sound search here, Finian?
I think a perfect opportunity.
Nick Cohan and Thomas Bressi battling closely for the lead, and whoa, Jeff Ward goes way up the racetrack. I'm not sure if he's doing this on purpose or not, but he just rockets up the racetrack in turns 3 and 4, then cuts right back down very violently, but it seems to be working out okay for him.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to stay out of being directly in behind the 46, or at least probably just testing the waters, seeing what works, and actually whatever's working, it seems to be doing so, because he's caught up to the 46, has a chance of getting third here.
Timothy Johnson half a second back in 5th place right now, just kind of keeping an eye on everybody at the front of the field.
Yeah, he hasn't really completely caught up to these guys. He's been keeping his distance to them, but it's definitely within range in case something happens, or if he wants to push the envelope, he can definitely catch up to the M9 and potentially pass him.
Great battle for the top spot. Look how high up the racetrack Jeff Ward is going and diamonding the exit. And how much is that hurting the tires, though?
I mean, I don't know. It depends on how much he's charging in on entry. You know, once he gets slowed down, it shouldn't really put much wear on it. But even the Evans can start to diamond the corner.
So, one more stop, are we thinking roughly? We're 25 laps into this run. Another 30 or so laps would put you at 150. I think that's easily doable on one more stop. So I think we're going to see that be the case. Green flag stops here. The pit lane entrance is really hard to get into, so that's a challenge everyone has to watch out for.
Yeah, especially because it's right on the racing line too, where guys are going to be slowing down. So you have to hope you're going to hope that people are calling out when they're making the trip down a pit road. Otherwise, you could see some incidents.
Bressi settled in 0.3 of a second behind Cohan. I think he's been a touch quicker, but just has nowhere to go with it. Evans and Ward look pretty much dead even, but they just can't get past each other. Ward's trying everything he can to get on by this 46, but I'm concerned he might be burning up his tires. You just saw him loose out of turn 4, and I think he's pushing maybe a bit too much at this point in the race. Maybe just settle in and wait for them to come back to you.
Yeah, I think really the best thing to do in a case like this, just try to stay with these guys as much as you can and pass them in the pits. You know, it's really been the best strategy to go with this package the way it is, because definitely passing, especially for the lead, is pretty hard to do. So a lot of times guys find it easier to pass them off the track.
Nick Cohan continues to lead the way. So that staying out on old tire strategy certainly did not work out. Alec Martinez buried 23 seconds, 18 seconds behind the leader. This is not working out for him. Even Anthony DeBarro is half a lap down, 13 seconds back.
Yeah, these guys are really struggling, and I think they're probably regretting their actions at this point. I think they're hoping for a caution to come out. No caution as of yet for them.
Even if they get a caution, we're closing in on 60, 50 laps to go. You don't have any time to make up the spots, so you better hope that you pull some crazy strategy and it works out all in your favor at this point.
And the worst thing, too, is they're going to have to pit before anyone else in this, anyone else on the track, because they had 20 laps already run on their tires and fuel. So they're going to have to come in and be a lap down, and if a caution does come out, they're going to be a lap down. So it's really, this has not worked out for them at all.
Quickest lap or quickest car on the racetrack last time through was second place Thomas Bresci. I think the aero watch is becoming a bigger issue as the run goes on. And you see Jeff Ward take a look to the inside of Greg Evans. We'll see if he can complete this path. It's going to be really tricky on the bottom.
Yeah, taking advantage of Evans' poor exit off the corner, but just not enough. You can see him having to back out of it as he was going to go up into the 46 as he continued on.
Diving off into turns 1 and 2 now. Battle's all focused mostly at the front of the field. I want to jump back briefly. Oh, as Nick Cohan starts to work his way through some lap traffic. And it's actually given him a slight advantage over Bresci at the moment. That's Casey Lakatos, who has just gone 1 lap down.
Yeah, Casey Lakatos back in 22nd.
And Bresci going to get on by. So let's jump back to 8th place real quick. That's Robert Hall and Colin Fambro. And also 7th place Hayden Pistorius, who's, again, has had a solid night tonight in that number 19 car.
Whoa, and Hall's gonna go to the outside of Fambro, trying to make his way through.
Really good close racing here. We've had a lot of green flag running tonight. Had 4 cautions for a total of 11 of our 118 laps. Still a pretty good percentage, I would say. 6 lead changes at the front of the field. But it's been mostly Cohan, Evans, and Ward at the front. Fambro, remember, he scraped the wall early, but it hasn't seemed to hurt him as he dives to the inside of the 19. Whoa. Gonna get caught up behind the 41. That's being driven by Gary Weaver, who was late to start the night. And those 2 cars dead even off the turn 2. Fambro a little bit loose for the lead, though. Thomas Bresci, it was alongside of Cohan out of turn 2, but steps back inside, back in line, as Justin Guthrie drops down the order. He's been in the wall in the back straight.
Yeah, he's really slowing off the pace to the inside. Oh, yeah, he went for a wild ride.
Yeah, same thing we've been seeing most of the night. Getting a bit tight up off turn 2. Here's a ride on board. Actually, it was loose. And big impact to the inside fence. Likely be the end of the night for the 18, or at least some significant crash repairs. Pistorius and Fambro still side by side. Fambro clears himself. And there's Zach Buchanan in 10th, looking for 9th place now.
Yeah, dogging some drivers. He restarted in the back a few, restart ago, 2 restarts ago. Has been slowly moving his way back up the order. He's got 9th, 8th, and 7th up ahead, and should be able to make some quick work of them as he looks to the inside of Robert Hall.
Yeah, he's been significantly quicker, about 3/10 quicker than the rest of these drivers in front of him the last few laps, so he shouldn't really spend a whole lot of time getting by them, but he's going to drift up out of turn 4. Big slide, leaving some tire tracks behind him. He'll take over 9th place. Greg Evans and Jeff Ward still fighting for 3rd, but they've lost a touch of ground to the 24 Bresci, who keeps the fight on the 21 of Nick Cohan. Coming up to 50 laps to go and getting closer and closer to our pit stop window, opening within the next, I'd say, 10 or 15 laps. Maybe even a little bit longer if they choose. Ward right on the rear bumper of the 46. And Greg Evans' rear bumper says I'm 2nd, but he's 3rd right now. He would like to be 2nd, so they have a chance at passing Nick Cohan for the lead. And getting by Dial Brooks in the 71 car. Timothy Johnson still sits 5th. Brian Chambliss has had a quiet night so far in 6th place. And this is a really solid run for the driver of the number 45 Drive to End Hunger Chevrolet Camaro. And started the night in 4th place. He's down a few spots, but this has been a really good night for him. I think if he could get a 6th place, that wouldn't quite be a victory, but it would be good enough to say he had a solid night and go on to next week.
I think that's all he's really just hoping for. I mean, yeah, he's really done a fantastic job to keep himself up in there. It's been one of his best runs all season so far. I think he's had some good runs in the top 15, but this will be a solid top 10, maybe even a top 5.
Yeah, if anybody makes a mistake up towards the front, he'll be right on it. 50 laps to go here at the Monster Mile. Nick Cohan leads the way. He's led 35 of the 126 laps that we've completed so far. Thomas Bresci has lost 0.3 of a second. And there goes the 54, 1 lap down, who was up inside the top 5 earlier this race. That's how much it's cost him, Finian. Just a terrible strategical mistake here. And it's going to hurt the 54 and the 27 for that matter, who's only a couple seconds up the road from being lapped himself.
Yeah, that's some Ferrari level of strategy blunder. These guys are, honestly, if I were them, I think they're actually just trying to stay out there and pit with everyone else. Expecting a pit stop in about 3 to 5 laps.
They can go to the end from here. DeBarro has had 60 laps in his fuel tank, which tells me they can easily go to the end. But, you know, this is... I'm not liking this for DeBarro either. I mean, he's got Nick Cohan only about a corner and a half away from going up and lapping the 27 and going to put him in a deep hole if they get a caution. Working through some more lap traffic. Bresci's lost some ground here, but Ward, step for step, eye for eye, is right with Greg Evans. Oh, look at that bobble. That's a 92 of Chris Matthews. 3 wide for a second. And Jeff Ward to the bottom of the racetrack leaves plenty of room, and Evans will take advantage of that. But still door-to-door, side-by-side off turn 2.
Yeah, Evans with a poor exit off the corner. Ward trying to take advantage of it, but Evans with a surprising rebound.
That was a great job by Evans to maintain that spot. And a great job by Ward to even get that far up the racetrack. And Thomas Bresci makes it to pit lane. Nice, clean, smooth entry. And that will get him the lead here as we have about a 2-second drop-off in pace. I think we'll see Cohan hit pit lane pretty quickly here as well.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he doesn't come in this time through. He's going to lose another 2 seconds otherwise to Thomas Bresci.
Doesn't look like he's currently planning on coming.
He's going to stay out. Interesting. So he'll continue on. Does anyone else behind Jeff Ward down? Alex Martinez comes flying into the pits, almost rear ends 89.
Yeah, trying to make up any time that he can. And just make sure you don't get yourself a speeding penalty. Casey Shue hits pit lane. Don Runkle Jr. is up to 16th. Remember, we donate money to Mission 22 if he finishes inside the top 5, and you should as well. Head to Mission 22's website. Link is in the video description for that information. Greg Evans hits pit lane from 2nd place. And pit lane speed is only 40 miles an hour around here. That's really slow. It's like feels like you're crawling around this pit lane here. Zach Buchanan comes down to pit lane. He's in nice and smooth. All right, if you're Nick Cohan, why are you waiting this long?
Honestly, I can't tell you. And he can't even try to get down there this time by as he's got some cars around him.
That's Gary Weaver in the 41, who is 59 laps down.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with this.
The strategy for the 21.
Yeah, I don't know who's calling the shots for Disney Motorsports, but I think they should probably be fired because, again,
Is there anybody that's made good strategy calls tonight?
Not a whole lot. And he continues to stay out. This is really mind-blowing. I think they've hired Arva Bene, the former Ferrari.
Well,
Ferrari
we still have a little ways to go, so maybe he knows something that we don't. But
I think it's too short.
I agree. I mean, I don't think there's only 16 minutes of racing left if we were to go green to the end. Maybe hoping for a caution, but why would you do that if you're leading the race?
I wouldn't hope for a caution. There's not. I mean, this is not too many guys still out there, and if so, they're really spread out at this point. And these guys have been known for running very clean this season, so I would not bank on a caution for this league, really. This is not one of the series I would.
There he is, still leading the race off of turn number 2.
And all the other leaders have come on down.
Yeah, with the exception of there's a couple drivers that have still not pit.
Yeah, Johnson actually has just come in. He waited quite a while.
40 laps to go here, and some more cars. Ooh, Martinez back on pit lane again.
Oh.
I think he got a pit road speeding penalty or something.
Oh, man, I really got to yell at him now.
Yeah, he's been on pit road twice. Took tires again. So he's 5 laps down now. Not what he needed for this night, but he's had a decent season so far, but this is certainly going to be one of the worst finishes that he's had. He's going to look like Superman right now, though, driving around the outside of Nick Cohan. He now puts himself 4 laps down. Colin Fambro hits pit lane. Oh, car backstretch, the 9 car of, wow, that was Thomas George, and we didn't get a caution. That would have saved Nick Cohan, but it didn't happen.
I'm amazed that he didn't just clear out whoever just went flying past him.
Yeah, this is a big mistake for the 7 and for the 7th place car. Into the wall, stomps on the brakes.
Whoa!
And, wow.
Oh, and then almost hit the other car. I think that was Weaver that came on through there.
So he heads down to pit lane.
And I'm sure Cohen's kind of kicking kicking something, because that could have been the caution he needed to get him back in this. You see Zach Buchanan all over the back bumper of him.
I just don't understand the strategy call thing.
So, looking at the order, Thomas Bressie is leading the guys.
Bressie is in the catbird seat.
Oh, he's actually close. Here comes Jeff Ward behind him.
Yeah, right now Jeff Ward was a touch quicker. Are they on equal tie? Ooh, blocked by the 24 down into turn 1. And they have 1 lap different tires. So they're pretty much on the same page.
Boy.
Runkle gets out of the way. A great battle for what will eventually be the lead. Bressie trying to run away.
And you see Bressie using...
Oh, he turns him! The 50 car slides up the racetrack. He saves it.
Whoa!
No, not yet. He spins, crash
There's
out of turn 4.
caution.
Caution, Nick Cohan's race is saved. With only 5 cars in the lead lap, the 50 car goes for a spin, and everything changes with 35 laps to go.
Well, they should go to Vegas now and put some bets, because he got really lucky there.
I'd say so. This was certainly an optimistic move by the 89, because the 50's got to make the corner.
Yeah, I think he was expecting the 50 to get out of the way there, because Lakatos has been getting out of people's, getting himself not involved in a lot of incidents. But again, it's just the speed difference.
The speed difference is really what I think did that. He almost had it saved and just tapped Runkle and sent him around. So, well, certainly drivers have some different opinions on that, but I know Bressie really didn't want to see that, because that just totally threw their strategy out the window. They would have been able to win this race.
And they have to stay out because they need to get the wave run, because everyone past 6th.
Now Nick Cohan looks like a genius.
Yeah. He's really, I wouldn't say he's a genius. I would say he's extremely lucky, that things went his way. It also went Aiden Pistorius, Robert Hall, Tyler Dulger, and Norm Pelletier's way.
Wow.
So those guys lucky.
That changes
and
a lot of things.
A lot of dizzy guys in there as well. So,
well, I can't say I expected that to happen, but oh man, how did that? This is just, oh boy.
Yeah, so that's gonna, again, unless we get another caution after, that's gonna effectively hand this race over to Nick Cohan, and maybe Robert Hall, but mostly Nick Cohan, because he's the most dominant car out of those 5, and everyone else is gonna be at a slight disadvantage.
Yeah, Thomas Bressie and Jeff Ward's got to be kicking himself here, because had he not turned that 50 car, he would have been second, maybe even leading the race.
Yeah,
so if that hurt anybody, it was himself. So certainly a mistake there by the 89. And it's going to cost him potentially a shot at a win here. And for other drivers like Alec Martinez, he's buried 3 laps down after the strategy mishap earlier. Tabarro is stuck a lap down as well. The race has not gone his way after the same strategy call as the 54. So we're going to wait and see how this settles out, but it's going to be the 21 leading the race. A lot of cars going to be taking the wave around here shortly.
You're probably going to see this caution extended just due to the sheer amount of cars getting a wave around. Just to give you an idea, so here comes the field on by.
This is Nick Cohan has scored as the leader. Look at all those cars in front of him.
There's about 20 guys almost ahead of the 21 that need to take wave rounds.
All right, so we should get a restart. Roughly 30 to 29 laps to go. That's about 13 minutes of racing remaining if we were to go green to the end. Do you think we're going to go green to the end, or do you think we're going to have a couple more yellows?
I think we might have maybe 1 or 2 tops, I think, at the end of this. These guys have been pretty clean and fairly respectful so far. And if anything, the conditions are getting better. As you can see, getting fairly dark.
Yeah, it actually has cooled down about 15 to 20 degrees since the start of the night. So that is certainly helping the grip level as well as the dark rubbered-in condition that we're seeing out of turn number 2 right now. So this should be the 1 to green this time by. We're going to send the whole field around to get their lap back.
it.
And we'll probably have to extend the caution one more lap to get everybody sorted.
You know what this place needs lights.
It does need lights. This would be a better track at night.
It would look really cool at night.
And concrete isn't quite as temperature sensitive as asphalt, so
Right.
like I don't think it'd be a drastically different race
They
necessarily.
just look cooler. Because I mean, you look at how Bristol looks awesome. The concrete at night looks really cool. They should do it. I know it's expensive, but they should do it.
The problem is that Dover is one of the few tracks that is still privately owned, so they don't have the massive pool of money that ISC or SMI have.
That's true.
So, all right, this should be our 1 to green here this time through. It is. We're going to get a lot of wave around cars here. I look from high above, you're going to see everyone driving past the pace car.
And you can see in the top right corner the Miles the Monster statue.
Oh, nice.
I should put a camera there.
I thought you had one there.
I never put a camera there. I forget that that's there.
Didn't you have it on the scenic cam?
Oh, probably one of them.
We're going to go through scenic here for a second and see if we can cycle to it.
I think one of them is there by default. Not really on my doing. There's a lot of scenic cameras I don't think we're going to see.
We're going to try to get lucky, Finian. Field doubled up. We might get a caution extended here. Just to the field stack
You can
back
see
up.
everyone's still racing down the front straightaway. I guess we're going to
We might get them all the way around. As it'll be a 31 lap run to the end. And yeah, I think we got everybody. So we're going to go back racing. 31 laps to go here in the 6th round of the Mission 22 Cup Series for the Fuel Racing League. We've had 5 cautions so far tonight in our 144 laps we've completed. Nick Cohan got lucky with the situation of the caution there on the back straightaway. Can he get lucky and be good for the end of the race here tonight? Toyota has won every race this season. Can he keep that streak alive? 31 to go at Dover. Green flag back in the air. Stack up in the back.
Oh yeah, and a lot of lap cars separating the top 5 from everyone else. Everyone gets back going and underway, and you see Cohen get a huge lead immediately over Hayden Pistorius.
He's going to try to run away. Is there some battling for about 4th and 5th with Pelletier and Gael Brooks? Tyler Dolger sits 4th right now as well.
Yeah, this has turned the whole order upside down. Some guys in the back have emerged to the top, and that definitely helped the 2 drivers like Robert Hall, who we know are fast. He's in 3rd, trying to chase down 2nd from Hayden Pistorius.
Oh, car in the wall! Big impact! The
Runkle.
0-0 of Runkle! They're right back into traffic. Everyone's scattering!
Oh yeah, right back into the midfield. Looks like a lot of those drivers were able to avoid it, though.
Man, I can't believe that wasn't a bigger crash than it was.
That could have been a huge...
And you know who just smiled a huge sigh of relief? Thomas Bressy, because they get to pit
Bressy,
now.
Ward, Evans, Johnson, Buchanan, all those guys have a smile on their face. Although they probably had a face of shock because Runkle came right back into the racing line.
That was terrifying here. So Runkle out of turn 2, up into the wall, just straight lines, and then bam! Huge impact into the fence. And look at Bressy right here. Watch this.
Whoa.
Oh! He might have gotten some damage here.
And Martinez, you with a quick swerve at the end.
Let's jump back up. I want to see if the 24...
I think he got away with it.
He might have been able to net code right through that.
Yeah. So luckily for him, he'll get through without damage and have a chance to get into the pits. And also what helped too, there was a lot of lap cars because remember these guys took wave around, so there were a lot of lap cars between them and the leaders. So even though Bressy restarted in 7th position, he was about the 13th or 14th car in line.
So DeBarro's going to take another wave around here because he was still a lap down.
So so that'll be a lucky break for him. Martinez is stuck back 3 laps down, so I imagine he's going to just stay out and get one of those back.
And let's be clear, there's still opportunity to get more than 1 lap back. This is I believe our 6th yellow of the night, and I think we're going to see maybe another yellow or 2. So if you better be taking the wave rounds right now because you could get yourself back in the mix if you play this out right. So race off the pit lane. There
and actually, I think Cohen is down in the pits with everyone else.
Yep, I expected that to be the case.
And he'll easily get it away from everyone else.
And Bressy going to roll off, try to beat that 89. That's the car he really needs to beat, but looks like... I think Ward might have gotten him, and he did.
Yeah.
But Bressy's going to be on the inside lane for the restart, so that might have paid off for him to let him go. Robert Hall is scored as the leader. If everyone stays out, this is going to be really interesting. If these front 2 stay out, that's going to create a big scatter on the restart.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys still mixed in there. Stories, Dolger, Pelletier.
I was told the 27 had a very interesting view of that incident with Runkle.
Not too surprised because he was right in the middle of that.
We're going to go back and try to watch 27's view. Here's his view.
Comes off the corner.
This might be a lap back.
Oh, yeah.
See, I think you can see Runkle up the road, potentially. Maybe we'll run on board the roll bar here. Oh, yes, here it is. Look at this. Whoa!
Oh, that's a butt-clenching moment right there.
I'd say so. Get another couple views of that. Right through the middle. Holy cow!
I just thought of a really funny award. You know how that guy, like the All-State Good Hands?
Yeah.
We should have a butt-clenching moment of the race sponsored by Butt Kicker.
Oh, man.
But yeah, that was really
That was
close for DeBarro. Fortunately for him, he'll get out of that. And actually,
he didn't get the waiver out
Yeah,
because Holland Brooks stayed out.
yeah, he's probably cursing them right now.
Oh, my goodness. Well, if you want to have a chance at a championship, I mean, Robert Hall isn't going to be able to compete for it, but kick the guys that are good while they're down. I mean, DeBarro's having a really poor race. If you can keep him down the order and eliminate some of that lead, it will help everybody come the end of the season here. So 1 lap to green. It'll be about 26 laps to go at the restart. Actually, 25 laps to go. We're working lap 150 of 175. Well, I think earlier in this race we thought we knew what was going to happen. It has completely turned up on its head so far tonight. We've seen 150 laps of intense action at the front of the field. A caution right in the middle of a pit stop sequence that threw everybody out of order. And we're going to have a 25-lap sprint to the end. It'll be about 10 minutes worth of racing. Re-racking, restacking. Of the 36 cars that took the green flag tonight, we have exactly, looks like 27 of them still running on the racetrack right now. The last of which is Vic Bloom, who is 67 laps down, making laps in that purple number 99. Never quit, folks.
Yeah, indeed, never quit. You never know what could happen. He's actually on track to pass Sam Crow. That's about it for 27.
Hey, one spot might be the difference between getting a playoff spot or not. 25 laps to go. Robert Hall has it. Gale Brooks is going to restart on the outside of the front row, and we're back racing again. And Robert Hall got a great restart. They might actually be able to hang on to it for a couple laps here.
To the inside, we're going to see everyone side by side duking it up the position, and
28
Timothy
turns
Johnson
in
is
front of the
around
field.
in front of Zach Buchanan. Into the wall he goes, and a big wreck. Caution's out.
And more cars in it. The 9 car, the
Thomas
54
George
sneaks on through. But Timothy Johnston, the winner from Daytona, torn up in this wreck. Multi-car accident on the exit of turn number 2. Wow. Drama continues to escalate here. It's like everyone's got all this energy pent up from the first 5 rounds of the season, letting it go tonight. Ooh, Greg Evans just slipped up, got into the side of the 28. Zach Buchanan got a piece of it. Chambliss got a piece. Vic Bloom, the 5, Colin Fambro. And then a 9 car came in there flying. There's Calvin Filarski as well. Alec Martinez drove right through it all at the end.
Well, Barro's probably happy to see this, because I believe he should be the one to get the free pass.
He will be the free pass car.
Thing. We'll see when he comes back on.
He should be. And I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of cars make pit stops this time through. All right, well, we're running out of laps here as we got our 7th yellow of the night. I think we're actually on pace to tie Michigan. Which
I think we are tied with Michigan.
Are we tied?
I believe they had 7.
And it's still very impressed. I mean, I thought this would be like this the whole way through the race, so I'm actually pretty impressed with how this side's gone.
Dover's not an easy track by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
So.
I mean, typically, if you have a clean race here, it's usually a boring race here. So pretty satisfied with how this one's gone tonight. It'll be under 20 laps to go when we get the green, and everyone's going to get greedier and greedier as the night goes on.
And actually, if we can cut to commercial there, I want to check some information that will require us to not be live.
We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us. All right, we're back. So basically what Finney needed to check for me is that these races are limited by time as well as by laps, and we have 12 minutes to finish this race before it finishes on time versus laps. Now, our estimation is showing that it'll finish in about 9.5 minutes.
Which is kind of close.
Which is pretty close. If we get another caution, we're definitely going to be flirting with the time limit. So we might not get all 175 laps in, which means that for drivers like Thomas Bressi, he's going to have to make up as much time as he can on the restarts here.
And we are tied with Michigan.
Interesting. Okay, so 7 cautions. We've tied with our first round of the season, which was wild in its own right. We had a couple great rounds of racing, but nothing super dramatic. This has been a dramatic night, especially the last half of this race.
Yeah, and honestly, yeah, it's been a pretty fair amount of cautions with the stuff that's happened. And
yeah, I don't think it's been excessive at all.
Yeah.
Obviously, once it starts getting into the double digits, you start kind of pushing that issue a little bit.
Yeah, and we don't even have the time to even
Yeah, we won't get
And
there.
that's another thing, too, because there are unlimited green-white checkers if time permits. And I doubt we're even going to even get it. Yeah, I doubt we're even going to get to that point. Maybe one, but yeah.
All right, so when we started the race, we had track temperatures over 110 degrees. We're down to 98 now, so the track has the most grip in it that it's had all day. It's got the most rubber in it that it's had all day. The only difference in the drivers is how greedy they're going to get, and I don't think anyone's going to lay over right now. There's a lot of drivers in here. Remember, if you win, you punch your way into the Fuel Finals this season. Nick Cohan is already locked in. Robert Hall is ineligible, but Gael Brooks, Hayden Pistorius, Norm Pelletier, Bressi, Dolger, all these drivers, if they win, they're in. So you best be believing that they're going to go out there and try to win this race as best they can.
Yeah, with all the cars that we've had, too, there's only 14 cars on the lead lap.
And Casey Lakatos is on the lead lap. Remember, he was crashed earlier tonight.
Yeah, that's a lucky break for him. So remember how I said he somehow finds his way in the top 15? He's in the top 15, and he shouldn't be able to drop out of it unless he has a wreck. Hopefully he doesn't.
All right. Redoubling, restacking. And the 21 is going to be on the outside lane. I'm liking where Nick Cohan's going to be for the restart here. Thomas Bressi is going to be sitting in row number 3 on the outside lane, so if he gets creative, he might have a shot at whoever comes out the leader on the other end of the racetrack. Some rookie stripes, a lot of rookie stripes up towards the front of the field on those rear bumpers. And a lot of drivers missing the rear bumpers entirely.
I was going to say that.
Been a wild race in round 6 of the season. Where are we head next week? I believe it's Kentucky next week. So actually, I don't think we've ever gone there for a Cup Series race.
No, yeah, we've been there for IndyCar.
Once.
Yeah,
one time.
With the Fuel IndyCar League, so...
It's not a track we've gone to a whole lot, so looking forward to that. Pace car off. Robert Hall leads the way. He fires off 20 laps to go at Dover.
And a fantastic start for the 30 car, getting ahead of the 21. Gael Brooks also falling in line to 3rd. Everyone else trying to make their way through. Some of the slower cars that have found their way to the top, as well as damaged cars.
All sorts of action towards the front of the field. Gael Brooks, Hayden Pistorius up to P3. Here comes Bressi looking for 5th, maybe even 4th here in a moment.
Yeah, I think Bressi has enough time to get to the front there, but he really needs to start passing some of these guys. See him look to the inside of Pistorius.
Yeah, he's got to be super aggressive because he's got to run down Nick Cohan and pass him before the race is over. He's got Pistorius to deal with. Cohan is actually going to... Oh, we got a car out of the way on the backstretch. That's Pelletier throwing a big block on the 46 of Greg Evans.
He actually hit the wall, and it wasn't really much of a block, more of him just trying to save the car.
Anthony DeBarro's back on the lead lap and inside the top 10. 3 wide on the front straight.
Yeah, 3 wide, DeBarro, Evans, and Dolger.
Oh,
Dolger getting the worst end of it.
18 laps to go, side by side. These guys were battling for the lead earlier. It's for 8th place now.
Trying to move some spots here. Evans moves himself up into 7th.
So much effort that these drivers are putting in to try to get spots away. DeBarro pops out of line on Pelletier through 1 and 2.
Also up for 3rd place, Bressi to the inside, or was looking to the inside of Pistorius, couldn't get it done. He's really getting held up by this 19.
Cohan is starting to drive away, but he's got Robert Hall to chase down as well. Chambliss and Zach Buchanan fighting for the top 10 spot. In the background, some more action going on. There's Alec Martinez, who's 3 laps down after a pit road mistake. Riley Thompson up the road. He's recovered from an incident that he had earlier in the night, up to 15th. He's in a lucky dog spot if something were to happen. And Buchanan and Dolger locked in a dogfight for 11th place. Buchanan's going to get the best of the 88 for now. And here comes Bressi. How patient are you if you're the 24? Apparently not much.
Yeah, that answered it right there, and actually his patience is going to run out. Here comes Jeff Warden behind him.
Yeah, he had to throw the block on the 89 there to keep him behind. I think this 89 is the most dangerous car if they were to get track position, so Bressy's got to hold him back and also try to set sail to get past this 19 car. I think Pistorius is holding him up, but he's got to pass him fair and square. That's racing. Running out of laps, though. Nick Cohan's a second up the road. Yeah, and Robert Hall's still leading this race.
Yeah, he's leading it commandingly so. I think Cohen's going to have a tough time catching up to him. He's making some inroads, but, you know, catching him is one thing, passing him is another. I think that's where he's going to struggle.
Bressy searching up the racetrack for a little bit more grip. He's got a decent run through the middle of the corner. What can he do with it on exit?
I see him looking a little bit high. I think he's been trying to pass him on the inside there. You see him looking at the inside. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that pass, though.
He's going to try side by side through 3 and 4. It looks like Pistorius is going to give it to him.
Oh, okay.
He's going to lift slightly. And you see DeBarro in the background fighting for 6th place.
And he's going to get past Gael Brooks. He's got also Greg Evans in behind him following through this traffic.
Cohan closing in slightly, 0.2 of a second. He already has a win this year at Darlington. It was won in dramatic fashion with a push and a shove and a spin to the back of the 46 car in the closing moments of the race. With 11 laps to go, Hall leads the way. Look behind, Jeff Ford trying to get by Hayden Pistorius.
He's going to have a much easier time than Bressy as he's going to clear. Oh, actually, he's not done yet. Here comes Pistorius with the crossover. Can't get it done on exit, though.
Bressy last time by was the quickest car on the racetrack. He's flying right now at 23 flat to a 24.05 for the 21 and a 23.063 for the 30 car. He's the quickest car.
I'm only concerned, though, I don't know if he has enough time to catch back up. He's got 10 laps to go.
And even more concerning is that the 89, once he gets clear, he might be even quicker than the 24. Bressy's certainly making up the ground. I think he'll get there, especially if the 21 and 30 start fighting, but I just don't know. He might be able to get to the 21, but maybe not to the 30 of Robert Hall.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. He's got to catch and pass 2 cars within 10, now 9 laps as they come across the line.
10 laps to go, make it 9. Robert Hall leads the way. It was a strategy call that put him out front, but the track position has been important tonight. Nick Cohan, he laid everything out on the line earlier tonight on a strategy call. We didn't think it would work. We were kind of laughing at him for making a decision so stupid, but it worked out with a late race caution, and it put him in a spot to win this race.
Yeah, what do you say? If it isn't stupid if it works. And it definitely worked out for the 21. Got him in the front of the field.
Now, Bressy and Ward are both the fastest cars on the racetrack right now. They're flying. And, oh, some traffic up the road. Cohan swerves to the inside of Don Runkle Jr. Bressy and Ward are going to get by him in 3 and 4.
Ward's getting a little bit, looks like he's going to get out of the line a little bit.
This 24 car's coming.
Whoa, yeah, and actually I am surprised he still is closing pretty fast and showing no signs of slowing down. Well, unless he gets involved with a fight with the 89.
Yeah, the 89 car is the one I'm concerned about right now, is because he's matching the 24's pace at the moment. They're going to need this race to go green, though. I don't think if they get a caution, they're going to have enough of a time on a restart to make anything work. 0.4 of a second is the gap. 6 laps to go. The top 4 condensing down to only a second between them.
Ward looking to the outside of Bressy. He's starting to dogfight him, and if Ward wants to get the win here, he's got to pass 3 cars in 5 laps. He's got to start soon with the 24.
Yeah, Ward was our pole sitter tonight. He led 31 laps early in the race, got shuffled back in the pits, and wasn't able to recover from it. Thomas Bressy started 16th after a poor qualifying run, has done nothing but climb forward. It was the caution during the pit sequence that put him back. He's within 0.4 of a second of Nick Cohan, within 0.7 of the lead, and he'll have only 4 laps to get something done.
Oh, he's really throwing it in there. Bressy
Cohan
being aggressive.
Slow through 3 and 4. He gained a ton of ground on the 21. If he can get by Nick Cohan quickly, he can go up there and chase the 30 car down. It's just going to be really difficult to get by Cohan.
Yeah, he's really going to have to play with the corners here, try to figure out where the 21 is slower, and he's got to figure that out fast.
Here he comes to the inside. He's going to dive underneath him in turn 3. The 21 slams the door.
Can't really do a bump and run here. I mean, you could try, but it's more going to be a dump and run.
Look at the run the 89's going to get. Big run for the 89 on the front straight. 3 laps to go. Hall setting sail. 0.5 of a second up the road.
And Hall's going to be enjoying this. 3 of the fastest guys in the field fighting it amongst themselves, letting him get away from them.
Bressy's going to have only 2 miles left to do something with the 21.
Whoa.
Ward charges into the corner, slides up the racetrack. He's running out of time.
I really started running out of time as to find it, just even get around Bressie as we got 2 laps to go, and Bressie's struggling to get around Cohan.
Bressie sits third. He's been trying to get by this 21 for a couple laps now. He needs a big run out of turn 2 to do anything with him. Here comes the run. Will he have anything for Nick Cohan? A dive off into 3. Cohan needs to leave him space this time through. Side by side for second as they come to the white flag.
Oh, they're going to almost door each other coming off a 4 white flag in the air, and that's going to let Ward get alongside Bressie now for third.
Oh, man. Side by side for third place now. Robert Hall played a strategy decision that we didn't think would work. We thought Cohan was in the catbird seat. There's a dogfight behind him for second. But for Robert Hall, a late entry to the series means he's championship ineligible, but that doesn't mean he's not capable of winning races. Robert Hall rounds turn 4. He wins the 6th round of the season at Dover.
Oh, and you see the 3 guys in behind him fan out. It's going to be Cohan, Bressie, Ward, as everyone else comes across the start-finish line to finish.
3 wide for second place,
Yeah.
Cohan, Bressie, Ward.
500 of a second between Bressie and Ward. That was pretty close between them.
How about Robert Hall? That decision worked out. And he's actually crashed on the back straightaway.
I think got a little too premature with the celebrations.
And for Bressie, I don't think you can fault him for probably feeling like he could have won that race. Things just didn't work out. I don't think he had the luck tonight to do it. He certainly had the speed, a strong run for him and for Cohan and Ward. But for Robert Hall, what a race and what a call by this third. New to the series and new to victory lane, he wins.
That car looked fine a lap ago.
Well, he needed to pass. No burnout either. Well, if he needed to pass inspection, I don't think he'll be able to now. All right, well, race results on your screen now. What a race that was, Finian. About 7 cautions. We had quite the battle up towards the front. Some pit stop strategy, some cautions that kind of ripped up everything that we thought we knew about this race. Surprises, disappointments. Who surprised you in a good way?
Honestly, definitely that 30. I definitely knew he had a fast car underneath them. Not a winning car, because we had guys like the 21, the 24, the 89, the 46, and the 27. A whole bunch of list of cars I would have probably put ahead of Robert Hall. But it was the one to come out on top here when it was all said and done, and threw some great strategy calls to get himself in the front.
Some other cars I noticed that had really strong runs. Hayden Pastoria, 6th. Gael Brooks in 9th. Top 10 for Norm Pelletier after starting the night off poorly with some damage. Casey Lakatos rebounded for 12th after being laps down early in the night and being involved in a crash on the back straight. Colin Fambro rebounded for 14th. Tyler Douglas 13th. That's a good run for him. Some disappointments tonight. DeBarro finished 5th. It's not bad, but really the strategy is what threw that away for him. He probably could have won this race had he done something different. Thomas George crashed out. Timothy Johnston. Matt Bell in the 77. His own mistake. That cost him a shot, as well as Will Robertson, the 39, and the 99 of Vic Bloom in that early accident on the back straight. We're going to jump to break for just a moment. Don't go anywhere. You're going to hear your winner, Robert Hall, and some others. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back live to Sim TV. Here now with sixth place finisher Hayden Pistorius in the number 19 TDR car. Hayden, congratulations on a really solid run tonight. Some strategy worked out in your favor there, but you had to hold off some heavy hitters to finish in sixth place. Just walk us through those final last few restarts and the challenge to stay ahead of past champion Greg Evans and others.
It was quite a challenge, to be honest. I was hoping for not to have a caution because I knew those guys like earlier in the race. I was hoping for them not to have a caution. Sorry, I'm having a brain fart. But I was hoping for not a caution because I felt like I could have got third to second place because those guys were so far back and on older tires than what I was. So I felt like that strategy just kind of went to waste when our caution came.
Talk to me a little bit about the track conditions tonight. We started off with about 110 degrees on the racetrack, and it seemed like it cooled down throughout the night and gathered some rubber. Did that change the racing lines at all throughout the race, or was it pretty much just one line for you in that 19?
It was a little bit of both for me. It was kind of the high line would work at the middle of the race, and the low line was working at the end of the race. But it for surely changed the results of this race. Because earlier in the race it was way looser, and at the end of the race it had a lot more grip, and we weren't as loose.
All right, well, for the Total Downforce Racing number 19, sixth place tonight for Hayden. Hayden, thanks for talking to us. Congratulations, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Now talk with our third place finisher tonight, who is Thomas Bressi. A solid run. Things didn't quite work out in your favor, though. I think you had probably the car to beat until that caution that kind of threw off everybody's strategy. Just walk us through those last couple moments trying to track down Nick Cohen and Robert Hall. Is there anything you could have done different?
Probably not. Nick and I, well, we were all just talking about it in the waiting room there. It was just kind of luck of the draw, kind of how you cycled out on restarts, and it's kind of like last week. It was so hard to pass people. I mean, like when I was behind Nick before that round of green flag pit stops, or I guess half a round if you want to call it that. Like I thought I was a little bit quicker than him. I just didn't have enough to like get right to him, next to him, and or by him. So that's why I thought maybe the short pit was going to work out. I was hoping it would, and then we had a caution that didn't really need to happen. So that kind of threw a wrench into things. P3 is still not bad, and I was playing catch up all night because I majorly screwed it in qualifying. So I don't know. I'm kind of bummed though. I was looking forward to this. Really thought I could maybe win this one, but P3 is still not too bad.
Yeah, so that caution that came out during the middle of the pit stop sequence, talk to me about just before that, though, because you came down maybe a little bit early, but we were surprised that Cohan stayed out so long. We didn't think the overcut would work, and maybe we thought he was just banking on a caution, which ended up happening. But did you think for a couple laps here that you were really in position to take that lead and run away with this thing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, as soon as, like, I think it was like 2 or maybe 3 laps after I'd passed Jeff and I had passed, I think Greg, he pitted a couple laps after I think Jeff and I did. And once I'd cleared them, I saw that Nick hadn't come in yet. I was like, this is mine if I don't do something stupid here and throw away what will become what I thought the lead. So I was hoping that was going to work. Because again, I just didn't have quite enough to get by Nick there. So I thought that was gonna pan out. So fortunately, it didn't. But still, not a bad result. Also, I want to give a shout out though to my teammate Casey. I hate that he got caught up in an incident at the end, but he had a really good run going, and hate it didn't really pan out the way he was hoping. But he was doing a great job tonight.
Thomas Bressi, third place tonight on the podium, but just short of a victory here at Dover. Thomas, thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week.
Yep, thanks a lot, guys.
Yep. Second place tonight, Nick Cohan led a bunch of laps early. Strategy call that we were quite questioning on that long green flag run there, Nick, and we thought, maybe you'd thrown the race away, and the caution came out and certainly saved that strategy for you. Just walk us through the thought process there with staying out on that long run, and then everything after that, battling Robert Hall and Thomas Bressi in the final moments of that race. Just walk us through the whole night from start to finish.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Kyle. We threw it away, but we didn't throw it away there on that strategy. I had like 35 laps left on fuel, and we knew knew at some point there'd probably be a caution. With the new tires out there versus the old tires, it's just the lap times were so different that I had a feeling it was going to be a caution at some point. So, you just got to gamble with these cars. You got to just take a big swing with strategy, and I was going to run that thing till it was dry. So, that's also a perk of having a win towards the playoffs. You can take those little gambles like that. Speaking of perk, it was good to have Perk Coffee on the car tonight, a little coffee joint in Savannah, Georgia. So thanks to them for being on the car tonight. Just a little bummed we couldn't get them in victory lane tonight. The car felt great when I'm leading, but as soon as you get behind somebody, just the air is so bad. It's like you're driving a totally different setup than the car in front of you. And my gut feeling was to stay out there, and I should have stuck with it. It's the game you play here with these new Cup cars. But second place will take it. Don't really think I was the second fastest car tonight, but so can't be too upset. But we'll take it. We'll move on. I don't even know where we're at next week, but we'll be ready.
All right, we head to Kentucky next week for another mile and a half. So I'm sure you're looking forward to that one.
Yeah, more dirty air.
Yeah, but it's still a very solid run for the 21 team tonight with the Perk Coffee on board. Nick, thanks for talking to us. Just a little bit short, half a second back from Robert Hall, but great run. We'll see you next week.
Yep, thanks, Kyle.
Yep. And last but certainly not least, Robert Hall won the race tonight in the number 30. Strategy, some luck, and some skill at the end of that race. How'd you hold off Nick Cohan, who's won a race so far this season and almost won a second one? And talk to us about that strategy call to stay out in that caution.
Yeah, I kind of thought if I got in clean air, I might be able to hold it. I didn't know wasn't 100% sure, but we only had like a lap and a half, 2 laps on the tires, so I felt pretty good.
So this season, Nick Cohan said that the aero push is so bad that you really have to take big swings. You have to take some risks, and he feels like he could take some risks because he already has a win. Obviously, championship ineligible for you this season just due to joining the league late. So is every race kind of a Hail Mary? You're willing to throw anything at it to get a victory? Or are you going to play this a little bit more strategically to try to get yourself some solid finishes?
I don't know. Every race will be different. And, one reason why I'm running these is, just get experience around these guys and, show them I'm a clean racer. But, like a track like Dover and with this package, you clean air is everything. A few more laps on my tires, I would have pitted right there. But, 2 laps, I didn't feel like it was enough.
We head to Kentucky next week, another mile-and-a-half racetrack. You performed quite well at Texas last week. What do you bring in there in terms of anything you learned from Texas? Is there anything that you can take to a racetrack like Kentucky, or is it kind of a new learning process every week?
Honestly, the tracks obviously are a lot different with Kentucky being a little flatter, and yeah, I really don't know. I really honestly hadn't run this car much with this package there, so I don't know what to expect, to be honest with you.
All right, well, Robert Hall, hey, congratulations on your first victory in the Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series. I suspect we'll be seeing you some more, so congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. That's going to do it for us for interviews tonight. Finney had to go run off to do a Lionheart practice race, so he is gone for the night. So it's just me closing out the broadcast here tonight. So 175 laps, 7 cautions, and some incredible action towards the end of the race. A pit stop sequence that was kind of shattered in half by a yellow flag, mixed up the strategy, but we return to a 1.5-mile racetrack next week at Kentucky Speedway for more high-intensity action for the Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series. Of course, if you'd like to donate or help out Mission 22 in any way, there is a link provided in the video description. Please consider donating to the cause of the war against veteran suicide. So thank you so much for your time. We'll see you next week, but coming up next on Sim TV, it'll be Thursday night Scars Ferrari Challenge from Imola. Then Saturday, Outsider Racing League heads to Bristol before the Indy Elite Series heads off to their next round on Sunday night, along with the continuation of the 3-wide Yinzer Truck Series playoffs. We'll see you. Have a good night.